Hello there guys, welcome to one of my live videos, and today I'm just be officially updating you on some more latest news. So if you do consider drop your likes, and if you do consider subscribe to the channel as always. So if Ole Gunnar Solsjaker is to be sacked by the football club, the question is, who should replace him at Manchester United. Now obviously we've enjoyed a really difficult start to this season, we're 6 games into the league so far this season, and we've only won 2, we've drawn 2, and of course we have lost 2. So in that aspect, we've only registered 8 points from 6 league games, and we know that's nowhere near good enough to our standards. And I did say, and I have been saying on my recent videos, if this bad run of form, does continue to persist, I think Ole Gunnar Solskjaer will be gone by Christmas. Now, obviously, the vast majority of Manchester United fans are demanding Ole Gunnar Solskjaer out of the football club. You'll get certain Manchester United fans, like me, that will still back Ole Gunnar Solskjaer all the way, because obviously, all the Manchester United fans, including me, do adore Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. I think also a lot of industries in that, believe that Ole Gunnar Solskjaer could be gone by Christmas. But despite our bad start to the season, Man United are still backing Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, and Ed Woodward is still convinced that Ole Gunnar Solskjaer can turn things around at the football club. But for me, I think Manchester United, need to give Ole Gunnar Solskjaer at least a couple of more windows, to see who else he can recommend in to the football club, because definitely more investment is needed in the squad. But I credit Ole Gunnar Solskjaer in certain aspects, and that I've obviously got some concerns of element about him. But the things I do credit Ole Gunnar Solskjaer for, obviously he's got a lot of trust with him and his young upcoming players, because we have got a lot of young players in the squad, that are developing and trying to improve at Manchester United. Obviously, he got rid of a lot of the deadwood, throughout the course of the summer. So we did get that summer clear out that Manchester United were demanding. But I still believe, more players do need to leave the football club, because I think, these still problematic players at Manchester United. And Solskjaer obviously, also recommended 3 good players to the squad. And obviously we spent over £150 million on Dan James and Wan-Bissaka and on Harry Maguire. And we have seen glimpses of what good signings they've proven to be so far, because they have done really well for the football club despite our bad start to the season. I think, if they can keep the consistency up, their valuations will persistently grow. But for me, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer still needs more time at the football club. Now, obviously, before Manchester United recommended Ole Gunnar Solskjaer in, obviously, there was quite a few, managers linked with a managerial role at Manchester United. If you do remember rightly, obviously at one point, Mauricio Pochettino was our primary candidate, to become manager of Manchester United, and that was in for him for a very long time. Obviously, Pochettino now is into his 6th season with Tottenham. Obviously, yeah, he's into his 6th season now with Tottenham. Don't forget, Tottenham recently, got knocked out at the Carabao Cup by Colchester, and reflects on the investment Tottenham did, during the summer. They should be much more of a commanding position than they're in now. And if obviously Tottenham, don't meet, if they don't exceed expectations, and that, Mauricio Pochettino, could be under serious pressure. And Pochettino is a good manager. Obviously, he is well Premier League proven in that, but obviously he hasn't got a proven pedigree yet of winning any silverware. And obviously there'll be his expectations now, Pochettino, to win some silverware. Tottenham, don't forget, got to their first ever Champions League final last season, but lost to Liverpool 2-0. But we was in for Pochettino. We was also in for Zinedine Zidane, because don't forget, Zinedine Zidane, was managerless for about 8 or 9 months, obviously, before he went, back into the Real Madrid job. But I did say, I think the only way that Zinedine Zidane or Pochettino would have come in at that particular time is if Man United, would have assured them a substantial amount to spend at the football club. But obviously our preference was Ole Gunnar Solskjaer over Pochettino and Zinedine Zidane and that, because obviously Ole Gunnar Solskjaer knows the culture of the football club, and obviously, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, obviously, it was a cheaper solution than Mauricio Pochettino and that, because he did say the time we was in for Mauricio Pochettino, would have had to pay around 35, or would have had to pay compensation of around 35 or 40 million pounds, to get Mauricio Pochettino winning that. Yeah. But like I said, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, overall now has been at the club for around 10 months. So he's been at the football club now just under a year. And obviously, when he came in December of last year, following the dismissal of Jose Mourinho, and don't forget, he came in as interim manager, did Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, and he actually was the interim manager for 3 months. And obviously in that 3-month period, everything went well. The results were good, the performances were good. He got the best out of these group of players, and he exceeded expectations. And that, Solskjaer won his first United games, you know, in total won 14 out of 19 in that 3-month period. Then obviously, you know, Solskjaer had got the job in March earlier on this year, but since Ole Gunnar Solskjaer has got the job permanently, you know, everything of course has just seemed to have all gone wrong. But you know, my element of concerns about Solskjaer is, you know, his tactics and that are questionable, and I do agree, you know, Manchester United are tactically inept. And he hasn't really, you know, got that managerial experience, you know, not really to the highest level. So that's also another element of concern. Obviously, you know, he did win a couple of Norwegian titles at Mould. Obviously, you know, he had a really short tenure with Cardiff and that. But I'm still, you know, backing Ole Gunnar Solskjaer all the way. But despite, obviously, I think, you know, despite with our inconsistency, I think, you know, the blame stems from everybody, but I think the vast majority of the blame, like I do keep saying, is from the board, because the board haven't been ruthless enough in the last, 5 to 6 transfer windows, and I don't like the way the football club has been run anywhere in the last 6 or 7 years, but the board obviously now hasn't been ruthless enough. The board didn't back Ole Gunnar Solskjaer enough during the summer, as they assured, you know, that they currently would have done, because obviously they didn't, you know, recommend any sufficient attackers in the board. You know, they didn't recommend any sufficient midfielders in. So I am very disappointed in that aspect. Some of the blame also stems from the players, because there has been a lot of players that have been underperforming this season. I think, like I said, there's still certain players here now that are no longer good enough to represent the football club. I think some of the blame also stems from Ed Woodward, because obviously, you know, Ed Woodward is the vice chairman, and obviously, you know, he oversees our transfer business, and you know, a lot of Man United fans are also, you know, demanding Ed Woodward out of the football club. You know, they've been, you know, giving the Glazers a lot of criticism, but yeah, I think everyone needs to take the blame, and also, you know, some of the blame does stem from Solskjaer. I think also certain players on that pitch, you know, also, you know, have to take responsibility. But I think, you know, so far this season is replicating what I saw last season, and what I mean is in that aspect that, you know, I haven't really seen much improvements. You know, last season we finished 6th and we failed to qualify for the Champions League, and I did say that was another thing that went against us of getting all the players that we wanted in, because obviously, you know, when you're not in Champions League football, it's going to be obviously, you know, harder to attract players to the elite level, and you know, so many players during this summer, you know, had reservations about coming to Manchester United. But I'm happy, you know, that we did address some of the problematic areas during the summer, and that, you know, we got that experienced centre half in, you know, we got that right back in that, but you know, we didn't address you know, all the problematic areas, you know, that we would have liked. But I said, you know, it's only been Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's first summer as Manchester United manager, so you can still quite frankly say he's in the process of rebuilding. Solskjaer confirmed, well, he did confirm he wants to stick to the same policy, obviously, you know, getting the recruiting, you know, young British players, you know, like he did do earlier on in the summer. But yeah, we need to see definitely, you know, further more investment in January, and maybe perhaps next summer. But the question is the Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, you know, revolution working at Manchester United? I was also, you know, reading reports. Was it the other week or was it earlier on this week? I did actually, you know, give you an update on it now. Like I said, who should replace Solskjaer? Now, obviously, who should replace Solskjaer? And there was reports stemming from the Italian press not too long ago saying that, you know, if Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is to be sacked by the football club, we have reportedly made Massimiliano Allegri as our primary candidate to replace him. Now, obviously, Massimiliano Allegri is the former Juventus manager. He was recently in the Juventus job. He's now into his, he spent 5 years with Juventus. Obviously, the majority of his Silver won, obviously, you know, was at Juventus. Don't forget, before that, he had about 4 years with Milan. I think he had a couple of years, you know, with Cagliari, and he's been at quite a few other Italian teams. So he actually spent the entirety of his managerial career in Italy. He also spent the entirety of his playing career in Italy as well. So obviously he's never managed in the Premier League, or he's never played in the Premier League. So reportedly he's our number one, you know, to replace Ole Gunnar Solskjaer at the football club. That's, you know, what recent reports had said. But you can pinpoint, you know, certain games out this season, you know, that arguably, you know, Manchester United should have won. I think we should have definitely won at Southampton away. That was a game Man United should have won. I think we should have won at Wolves away earlier on in the season. Obviously, Paul Pogba missed a penalty. I think we also should have definitely won against Crystal Palace at home. Obviously, reflecting on the amount of chances we had in that particular game. Obviously, had the majority of the possession. We also missed a penalty in that game. Marcus Rashford had missed, and we lost that game. But that's a game Manchester United should have arguably won. But for me, I think we're still lacking leaders in the team. We do seem to be creating chances, and that's one good sign. We are creating chances in that. But we're just not scoring enough goals. We're not being clinical enough in front of goal, and we don't seem to have that clinical element. And this seems to be a problem. And I think this is a problem that Manchester United do need to justify, because it's the same as last season. Last season we created a lot of chances in that, but we only managed to score 53 goals in the league. Last season, and so far this season, we've only managed 8 goals in the Premier League. But like I did say to reflecting on the amount of money that's been spent at Manchester United, in the last 6 or 7 years. Also, with with the also with the history of this football club, because looking at it, we are the most successful team in England. Historically, we should be much more of a commanding position, than winning now. We should be much more of a commanding position than winning now. But I did say, we've got to get into that top 4 this season, because it's very, very imperative, that Man United, do get back into the Champions League. And I did say our expectations this season, will be to finish in that top 4, and perhaps, maybe win some silver. And obviously, Ole Gunnar Solsjaker has got to exceed these expectations. But like I said, I want Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's tenure, to become successful at Manchester United. I want his tenure to become successful. Don't forget Solskjaer is our 4th permanent manager since the Alex Ferguson era. Obviously, Man United have already sacked 3 managers from the football club, since the Alex Ferguson era. And like I said, we haven't really got the structure, to keep sacking managers. We haven't really got the structure to keep sacking managers, and obviously Ole Gunnar Solskjaer wants to bring that winning mentality back to the football club. He wants to bring that fear factor back to the football club, and that none of those have been there since the Alex Ferguson era. But I've got a lot of doubts about Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, if I'm going to be quite honest with you. But like I said, we have got big ambitions for the future, and obviously that's what those ambitions are, to get back to winning silver, and obviously get back being competitive in that. And this is obviously something else that Ole Gunnar Solskjaer does want to bring back to the football club. But like I was saying, when we had Alex Ferguson, obviously, when we first recommended Ferguson in back in 1985, or was it 1986, if I can remember rightly, from Aberdeen, Ferguson, didn't win out in his first 4 years, so it took him 4 years, to win out at Manchester United and that. And then obviously after 4 years, he was on, basically in that 4 years he was on the verge of getting sacked, but he didn't. And then look what he went and accomplished, Alex Ferguson. We had 20 odd years of great success under him. We had great players under Alex Ferguson. I did say, now I hope this team this day and age can replicate what the team did under Ferguson. But I did say anyway, regardless of who our manager is, no one's going to ever follow Alex Ferguson's legacy. We never, we're never gonna be the team that was under Alex Ferguson. That, but we've enjoyed a really, really difficult time, since the Alex Ferguson era in comparison, to the time under Alex Ferguson and that. But like I did say, I think the board, they needs to take responsibility. I think they're a liability of the board, to be quite honest with you. But I think the board anyway need to assure structural changes at the football club, and that whether they can, whether they can assure these structural changes or not, I do not know. Obviously, don't forget during the summer as well, Man United, were in for our new sporting director. I did say that's one of the structural changes, that Manchester United do need at the football club. Because we was in for a director of football, during the summer and that. I said we needed to recommend someone who knows about the football club, someone who, of course, has got that experience. And I think, someone who, would be reliable, to oversee our transfer business and that. And I think there was speculation the other week saying that, you know, Ed Woodward, you know, was looking to appoint a new sporting director in to the football club. Edwin van der Sar was spoken about. Obviously, Edwin van der Sar is the CEO of Ajax. Obviously now he's into his fourth season at Ajax. He's Edwin van der Sar and that. But yeah, we need to see structural changes and that at the football club. But like I said, you know, we have got a lot of injuries, you know, don't forget. And obviously, you know, effects on the injuries anywhere. Obviously, you know, Ole Gunnar Solsjaker has had to make alterations in the squad. Obviously, you know, he makes a lot of alterations in the Europa League and that, you know, he gives more of the young players a chance because that's really, really good because in that aspect, it does gain them more experience. But like I did say, the players that are out with injury, obviously we do know that Marcus Rashford is out over groin injury. Obviously, you know, he came off injured in the 2-0 defeat to West Ham, did Marcus Rashford. And like I said, Rashford hasn't had a great start to this season. I still think he is the long-term solution for Manchester United. You know, the vast majority of Man United fans are believing now he is more overrated, he's Rashford, but he's still only 21 years of age, so he's still developing. Like I said, he's played in that central position so many times, you know, at Manchester United as Rashford, but now obviously Martial seems to be more effective in that central position. But Martial and Rashford are compatible in that aspect because they can both play in the same positions and that. But for me, Martial's more of the standout player centrally in that. With Rashford, like I said, he got given a new contract earlier on in the summer, and you know, like I said, reflects on Rashford's status at the club because so far he has spent the entirety of his career in Man United, and also. With a substantial amount he's on now on his new deal, you know, he should be putting much more. Well, he should be putting better performances out. But you know, is Rashford starting to become a liability at Manchester United? But I think Rashford, you know, anywhere should be back for either the Alkmaar game or the Newcastle game. I think, you know, Rashford, you know, would have regained full fitness, but he's ruled out, I think, for the game tomorrow evening against Arsenal. Is Rashford, and like I did initially say, you know, I think Mason Greenwood is a much better solution than Marcus Rashford, especially at this present time. I know Mason Greenwood has not yet started a game from the start in the Premier League so far this season. He has actually made 4 substitute appearances. Greenwood obviously, you know, has scored in his last 2 games from 2 starts. Obviously, you know, he started against FC Astana in the Europa League. He also started against Rochdale earlier on this week, and obviously, you know, scored in both of them games, you know, which is very, very good. But yeah, Solskjaer did assure that Mason Greenwood will get more minutes under his belt, you know, if he keeps scoring, and obviously, you know, if he keeps the consistency up, you know, basically, you know, will get more minutes under his belt and that. And I think, you know, by the time Mason Greenwood is 23, 24 years of age, I think he can become, you know, a Galactico, you know, centre forward in my opinion. But he is only 17. He's actually 4 years younger than Rashford. Obviously, only made his full debut for the club last season in the 2-0 home defeat to Cardiff. But yeah, I think he definitely, you know, can become a success at Manchester United. Can Mason Greenwood? Like I said, he didn't play against West Ham in the last league game, obviously, you know, due to that he had tonsillitis, but he should, you know, he's got to be starting tomorrow against Arsenal. With Anthony Martial, he's a doubt for tomorrow. Like I said, he's been a big miss as Anthony Martial because you can see the difference in that attacking line over Anthony Martial there, because Anthony Martial's been out with a thigh injury and he's missed the last 4 or 5 games for Manchester United, hasn't he? I think it's the last 4 games in all competitions Anthony Martial has missed. Martial is only 23 years of age. You know, his performances before he sustained his injury this season have been really, really good. Also did really, really well throughout pre-season. Did Anthony Martial. I still don't think he's quite emulated to that level yet, but I think he will get to that level with Martial. Obviously, predominantly, you know, plays out and on the left does Martial. Don't forget, he made, for the majority of his Man United career, I think he's mainly played in that number 11, but obviously now Man United have given him that number 9. He has scored 50 goals for the football club. You know, over 50 goals I think it is in all competitions. You know, he's now into his 5th season as a Manchester United player, but I don't think, you know, he's going to be playing tomorrow and that. But some people, you know, do believe now we are short anywhere in that attacking line. Obviously, you know, following the dismissal of Romelu Lukaku and Alexis Sanchez, it was actually a shame that, you know, the football club didn't recruit a replacement for Romelu Lukaku and that. And yeah, it just proves that we're short up front because, you know, it's just proven that so far this season we've only managed 8 goals in the Premier League. But yeah, and Martial, you know, he's on a substantial amount. You know, he's on over 200 grand a week. He signed a new 5-year deal back in January. You know, don't forget. And yeah. Luke Shaw, he's going to be missing this game, I think, tomorrow. Unless he could possibly be involved. I doubt it, though. I have got a lot of doubts about it. Solsjaker, recently, give his overarching view on Luke Shaw and that. And, I interpreted some of the things Ole Gunnar Solskjaer mentioned in the press conference building up to the game tomorrow. And, he did mention that Luke Shaw, he's been working hard and that, and he's back in training, and we hope to see him before the international break. Analysing it, Luke Shaw has sustained quite a few injuries as a Manchester United player. I do believe also when he was younger, when he was at Southampton at the time, I think he sustained quite a few injuries and that. But I think analysing the majority of his Man United career, I think Luke Shaw has mainly done really, really well. He obviously won the double player of the season last season, reflecting on his impressive performances, and he's still only very, very young. But obviously, due to the absence of Luke Shaw, it has been Ashley Young that's been mainly fulfilling his role at left back. Obviously in the last, I think in the Astana game and the Rochdale game, obviously Rojo, fulfilled Luke Shaw's role in that. I think, they should be back, all of them, should regain full fitness, for the game against Newcastle and that. Eric Bailly's obviously a long-term absence. We won't be seeing him, I think, until the new year. Obviously, he's out with a knee injury. He obviously, sustained this knee injury, throughout pre-season and that. And I think Eric Bailly's a really, really good player, and he's, a very, very imperative player. But he never plays for Manchester United because obviously, he's injury-prone and that. He's sustained a lot of injuries as a Manchester United player. And I think reflecting on this, Man United, could maybe consider offloading him in January or next summer. Eric Bailly now is into his 4th season as a Manchester United player. We paid around, was it £30 million to him from Villarreal back in 2016. And he has got great potential. He does hold his line really, really well, does Bailly. And he's done really, really well when he's played. He hasn't had a bad career. I think that his career has just been affected, with the amount of injuries he has sustained, and that is the problem. And I think, if a suitable offer came in for Bailly, then definitely, the club, would be willing to offload him. Fosu Mensah now, obviously, he's another young upcoming player. Obviously, he returned to Man United earlier on this summer because last season he was on loan with Fulham. Obviously, I think he actually sustained this knee injury whilst he was on loan with Fulham. Obviously, he's out now for Manchester United with injury. He's been out with injury for quite a while, but Solskjaer also confirmed, he has also, returned back to training. Like I said, like it confirmed, Diego Dalot and Angel Gomez, I think, are also out for Manchester United. Well, actually, Solskjaer had confirmed this press conference that Diego Dalot and Angel Gomez are both out. They are injured, as Solskjaer has confirmed. He did actually say that Angel Gomez is going to be a big part of the squad this season. Obviously, he is another one via midfield options and that. With Diego Dalot, he's only made one appearance for the club this season, and that appearance came against FC Astana in the Europa League. Obviously, Diego Dalot is one of our backup options at that full-back position. Diego Dalot is predominantly a right back, but he can play in other positions. He can play as a left back and a right winger. He played as a right winger quite a few times towards the back end of last season and that. So yeah, his versatility is quite good. But he did, Diego Dalot, when he can, he'll get given his chances this season. But yeah, them two were both injured. Them two were both injured, and Paul Pogba. Now, we do not obviously know that Paul Pogba is out with an ankle injury. Solskjaer had confirmed in his press conference that obviously, he confirmed that obviously Paul Pogba did return to the starting 11 earlier on this week against Rochdale and that. Played the full 90 minutes, but obviously had sustained another knock and that. So I think he's got the same injury than what he initially had. Paul Pogba, I think it is an ankle injury. Don't know how severe it is yet. Obviously, Paul Pogba about 3 or 4 weeks ago now, I think it was, had to withdraw obviously from the France squad. Obviously, following his ankle injury. He actually sustained that ankle injury in the 1-1 draw with Southampton. He would have been infuriated, Pogba, that he had to withdraw from the France squad, because we do know that Paul Pogba, does like to represent France. So we have got quite a few injuries in that. But I think the players that should be assured to start against Arsenal, definitely Daniel James, should be assured to start, because Daniel James has enjoyed a fantastic start to his Manchester United career. He's supposed to be more effective on that left-hand side, but don't forget, you can put Daniel James on the right. And I think so far this season he's replicating, what he did last season, with Swansea and that, and he's taken a huge step in his career, coming all the way from the Championship, to the Premier League and that. But I think, he's becoming a fruition at Manchester United and that, and he's very, very trustworthy. Obviously he was injured not too long ago. He had a knock injury, did Daniel James. But he still, played in the last league game against West Ham, even though there was doubts before that game that Daniel James, could have missed. And Wan-Bissaka obviously, needs to start in this game against Arsenal. And Wan-Bissaka now, I'm surprised he played midweek against Rochdale. I thought, he might have actually been rested. And Wan-Bissaka, I think, he shows good attacking intent. He gets forward well. I think also his defensive abilities are really, really good, and his distribution's absolutely fantastic. And Wan-Bissaka is only 21 years of age, and I think he definitely can become our fullback for the next decade. But what a player he's been so far. A lot of people believe Wan-Bissaka has been one of our most consistent signings so far this season. Harry Maguire definitely will return to the starting 11. He was rested earlier on this week against Rochdale and that. Harry Maguire, I think again, he's enjoyed a magnificent start to his Man United career. I do believe the football club overpaid for Harry Maguire. Obviously, we paid £80 million for him. Obviously, he's the most expensive defender in the world. He's our second most expensive signing. Behind Paul Pogba. Obviously, we paid £89 million for Paul Pogba. But I think Harry Maguire and Victor Lindelof, are blending well together in our current back line. But yeah, so we did overpay for Harry Maguire. But obviously, anywhere, we're known for overpaying for players. We're known for overpaying for players and that. And there's been, we've done it in recent years. A lot of money's been invested into the football club in the last 6 to 7 years. And plus, this is a problem for Man United. When we overpay for players, and then when it comes to letting them go, we let them go for next to nothing. So in that aspect, that's bad business from the football club, and we've done it. There's been prime examples of it this summer. Don't forget. I think with Darmian, we let him go for just over £1 million. When we initially paid around £12.7 million for him from Torino back in 2015, and Darmian served 4 years at Man United and that, and then but maybe if we'd got rid of Darmian last year, maybe 2 years ago, then maybe we would have recouped the money that we did pay for him from Torino back in 2015. It was no surprise that he left. I was just surprised, of how much Man United did let him go for. And with Ander Herrera, I think it was a mistake, Man United getting rid of Ander Herrera full stop. But it was bad that we didn't even generate any money from his departure. Obviously, the club let his contract run down earlier on in the summer. And that, and it was bad business because obviously, his contract run down because, we was trying to open talks over getting him a new contract, Herrera, but obviously, we was not willing to meet Ander Herrera's wage demands, because don't forget, he was demanding a substantial 200 grand a week from the club. At the time, a lot of people said, he wasn't worth 200 grand a week, but, Ander Herrera, was arguably one of our best players since the Alex Ferguson era. Don't forget, Ander Herrera served 5 great years at Manchester United and that, and it was a shame that anywhere we didn't recruit a replacement for him. Shamed about that. Lindelof, he should play in the game against Arsenal. Lindelof, I think, analysing his Man United career so far, I think he's done well. He's done well, mainly. I think he's had some rough patches in that. Lindelof, when he first came into the football club back in 2017, he didn't settle in at the first. He's obviously comparison, to Wan-Bissaka, Harry Maguire and Daniel James, because obviously they've settled in straight away, and we only got them early on this summer. But with Lindelof now, he's into his 3rd season, but he didn't settle in straight away in his first season. That struggled for consistency. But I thought then in his second season, Lindelof, really improved. He was also good towards the back end of last season, and I think so far this season he's mainly done well. He's had a couple of bad games this season as Lindelof, but I still think he is flourishing at Manchester United. I think definitely in this particular game at Tominway now he needs to play in this game, because I think he's been very, very impressive this season. With in regards to McTominay being a long-term solution for Man United, I have got element of concerns about that. These question marks around him. Can he keep the consistency up? Scott McTominay and that, and time will tell. But he deserves to keep his players in the team. Like I said, if Paul Pogba would be available for the game tomorrow, I think it should be him alongside McTominay in our midfield. But I don't think obviously he's going to be available, Paul Pogba. So I probably we'll put Fred alongside McTominay. I know Fred wasn't too good against Rochdale this week. Earlier on this week, Fred wasn't too good, but in the last couple of games before the Rochdale game, I thought Fred really stepped up to the plate. We overpaid for Fred basically. We paid £50 million for him last summer from Shakhtar Donetsk. It might have been just under 50 million pounds in that. But yeah, I think Fred is a much better solution than Nemanja Matic. So I think we need to see more with Fred. The question is, would you start Jesse Lingard in this game? Now, we know, analysing Jesse Lingard's performances so far this season, they have been very, very poor. Obviously, he was also poor in the last couple of months of last season, but Lingard may get the start. Obviously, Lingard's goal-scoring record against Arsenal seems to be pretty good. He scored a couple of goals against them last season and that. But Jesse Lingard, is 20. I think he's 27, 28 years of age. Obviously, so far, I think has spent the entirety of his career with Manchester United and that. But definitely Lingard's performances, do need to improve. Need to improve in that. Andres Pereira, I don't think he's done too good so far this season. Alex Tuanzebe, now obviously he's another one of our centre backs. Obviously, Tuanzebe, he'll obviously get assured more chance in the Europa League and the Cup games and that. Obviously, he's predominantly a centre-back, but he can actually, also play as a right-back, can Alex Tuanzebe. Obviously, he was on loan with Aston Villa last season, don't forget. So, in that aspect, he has gained more experience. The likes of Jones and Rojo, obviously, they get given more chances, obviously, in the Europa League and the Cup games to Jones and Rojo. Jones and Rojo have obviously both made 2 appearances this season. They both played in the FC Astana game. They also both played in the Rochdale game. Rojo, could possibly play against Arsenal, obviously due to the absence of Luke Shaw and Diego Dalot. Could put Rojo at left back position and Wan-Bissaka at right back, but he may actually go with Ashley Young at left back, to be quite honest with you. Unless Luke Shaw is available for tomorrow, but I do doubt it, very, very much. But like I said, it's going to be a tough game tomorrow evening. It's always a good clash, is Manchester United and Arsenal. Like I said, this is a good statistic. Arsenal have not beaten Manchester United at Old Trafford since 2006. In the Premier League, that's obviously around 13 years ago now and that. But we are only sitting 3 points behind Arsenal in the table. Like I said, Arsenal have got good players, that could cause us problems. Obviously they've got Aubameyang, they've got Lacazette. When they do play together, they're a fantastic partnership in Arsenal's team. So Arsenal are good in terms of an attacking intent. They're good. They can pass the ball. They can create chances. But they have, they do leak a lot of goals. So they have got deficiencies defensively in that. But yeah, I think definitely both teams will score tomorrow. I think Arsenal have got Lacazette out. I think it said he's got an ankle injury, has he? I think he could be out tomorrow. Obviously, I think Ainsley Niles is also suspended for Arsenal. But yeah, they have got good players, They've got Aubameyang, they've got Lacazette, they've got Ozil. I think actually, Ozil is aging up now, and he's obviously coming to the end of his career. Obviously, they've got Rob Holding, they've obviously got Hector Bellerin. Don't forget Arsenal as well, did lose Aaron Ramsey, throughout the course of the summer. I think quite a few other players, did leave Arsenal. But, Arsenal, you know, did really good investment during the summer. Like I said, you know, they got around, was it 4 or 5 players in. You know, obviously they spent a substantial amount on Nicolas Pepe. They spent around, what, £70 million on Nicolas Pepe. You know, they paid £25 million for Kieran Tierney. Don't forget they got Kieran Tierney in. Obviously they got Daniel Ceballos in from Madrid. I think he's primarily centre midfielder in, but I think he can play as a right back if I'm right. You know, they got David Luiz in. They got William Saliba in, but I think he's been loaned back to St Etienne for this season. So they did really good investment. Actually, it did confirm at the start of the season, start of this summer, that allegedly Arsenal had only been given a tight budget. You know, they'd only been given around, what, 40 or 45 million pounds, 40 or 45 million pounds to spend. Don't forget Arsenal, you know, went in for Wolves to hard during the summer, but obviously, you know, Crystal Palace were demanding a substantial amount, and that obviously Arsenal, you know, weren't willing to pay it. But yeah, they've got good players. Granit Xhaka's a good player for them. Lucas Torreira's a good player for them. You know, Matteo Guendouzi is also a good player for Arsenal. But yeah, this is a game Manchester United have got to win tomorrow evening if we do want to keep our hopes up, you know, for that top 4. But games, you know, are coming up thick and fast for us. You know, Arsenal tomorrow evening. Then 3 days later, we go away to AZ Alkmaar in the Europa League. That's obviously going to be a tough test. So to his parties in Belgrade, you know, they're going to be much more tougher test than FC Astana. Then 3 days after the FC Astana, AZ Alkmaar game, we go away to Newcastle. Then it's the international break, and then after the international break, we do go at home to Liverpool. So, you know, games are coming up thick and fast for Manchester United, and that coming up thick and fast for Man United. But I still believe, you know, more players need to leave the football club, despite the fact now a lot of players have left, you know, since Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's arrival. And obviously, like I said, Italy has been a popular destination, you know, for the vast majority of our players, you know, obviously, you know, that have left this summer. Obviously, quite a few, we know, players and that have been loaned out. As I've been updating you on a regular basis, in regards to Paul Pogba, obviously now Paul Pogba is into his 4th season as a Manchester United player, you know, since he rejoined from Juventus back in 2016. And analysing the majority of his career with Man United since he rejoined back in 2016, you know, he has been mainly inconsistent. So he's so far endured a pretty difficult time in comparison to his time at Juventus, because he did, you know, have 4 good years in sharing with Juventus and that. Now, obviously, there has been reports speculating now for at least the last couple of weeks over the possibility of Man United, you know, renewing Paul Pogba's contract at the football club. Now, Paul Pogba's got 2 years left on his current deal at Manchester United, with an option to extend it by a further year. And of course, Pogba is obviously not on around 290 grand a week at the club. So obviously, in that aspect, he is one of the highest paid players, and obviously he's our most expensive signing as well, because we paid £89 million for him from Juventus back in 2016. Now, as you know, Paul Pogba reportedly now is demanding a substantial £600,000 a week, you know, if he's to commit his long-term future in Man United, and if he's to renew his contract at Man United. So 600 grand a week equates to around £30 million a year. So basically, he's demanding, Paul Pogba is demanding for his wages, you know, to be more than double than that. But I can't see, you know, Man United willing to meet them wage demands. You know, probably we can, you know, meet them wage demands, because we've got the financial power to meet them wage demands. You know, we're a massive club, you know, we've got massive revenues and that. But I just can't see, you know, Manchester United willing to do this. Now, I think Paul Pogba is still desperate, you know, to leave the football club, as recent reports have indicated out. He still, I think, wants out in January, and I still believe Paul Pogba wants, you know, Pogba will leave the football club, because don't forget, Paul Pogba confirmed earlier on this summer that he does want to leave Man United, and he said basically, you know, he was seeking for a new challenge and that. And he actually publicly admitted, you know, that he wanted to leave the football club. Now, quite a few teams, you know, inquired about Paul Pogba during the summer and that. You know, he had a long-running transfer saga. You know, Pogba was relentlessly, linked to a move to Real Madrid and that. But I did say, reflecting on the substantial amount we put on Paul Pogba during the summer, that was the stumbling block of Paul Pogba making his move to Real Madrid, because we quoted out that we wanted around, £180 million. Real Madrid were not willing to pay up to £180 million for his services, because Real Madrid spent a substantial amount themselves during the summer. They spent around, £300 million on 5 players. But despite the fact they've spent a lot of money, they're still looking to do further more investment. And Zinedine Zidane obviously identified, Paul Pogba as his #1 priority target during the summer. So Zinedine Zidane will be infuriated, that he didn't get his #1 priority target in that. But Real Madrid more than likely will reignite their interest in January in that. But recently, Ole Gunnar Solsjaker actually said that he notified Real Madrid that Paul Pogba is going nowhere, and he's very adamant, is Solskjaer, that Paul Pogba will not be for sale in January. And this is what he had basically said. Paul Pogba, like I said, he hasn't had a great start to this season again. He hasn't performed to the, extent as we all expected. Don't forget, Pogba did well in that 3-month period, when Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, first came in to the football club. Paul Pogba, was on great form. But Pogba, 26 years of age, still in his prime, still got a lot of development minimum in that. Don't forget, there was talks about him making a return back to Turin during the summer, because, like I said, he had 4 good years in Turin. Allegedly, he agreed to move to PSG. I think it said on deadline day. But obviously, his move to PSG allegedly never materialised because of the Neymar saga. And I think Barcelona, I think were also in for him during the summer. But the main architect was Real Madrid. Paul Pogba's brother, Matthias, he fueled speculation during the summer and that. Obviously, he knows how good, his brother, would represent Real Madrid. And he basically said, he's focusing on this season now, is Paul Pogba at Manchester United. But I was glad we kept him at the football club, at least, for this summer and that, because obviously, we didn't get a midfielder in, during the summer. But and like I said, we haven't been competitive enough in, the last 4 or 5 windows, prior to this summer, we didn't get anyone in January, reflecting back last summer, we didn't obviously, get our #1 targets, because obviously last summer, at the time, the board were backing the signings that Jose Mourinho wanted to recommend to the football club and that. But yeah, very big game tomorrow for Man United. It's a game, obviously, Manchester United do need to win. It's our 7th game of the Premier League season. And I said, if the bad run of form does continue to persist, we could enjoy a worse season this season than what we saw there last season and that. And we will see what happens. But this video is to say who should replace Ole Gunnar Solskjaer at the football club if Solskjaer is to be sacked by Manchester United. Would you recommend Massimiliano Allegri? Should we reignite our interest in Pochettino? Should we go back and Zinedine Zidane? Who should we go in for? That is the question and that. But I think us getting rid of Solskjaer is not going to change the situation at Manchester United. So I think we should give him at least a year at the football club. So anyway, guys, drop your comments, likes below on the channel. If you do consider a subscribe, as always, and take care. God bless, and I'll see you all again very, very soon. Thanks for watching.